Wewe kijana kuja hapa umetoka wapi? Unaenda wapi? Saini za ngapi? Kwa nini na kivipi? Hebu eleza mara moja, kuja huyu sio madha, kuja hapa.
Officer, mimi ni mtu wa chemist, naenda nyumbani. Hata niko na barua ya essential services.
Ati chemist?
Si unajua serikali ilisema sisi tuko na ruhusa ya kuchelewa kidogo.
Ati serikali ilisema aje? Wewe unasemianga serikali? Wewe ndio government spokesman. Makosa ya kwanza, impersonation of the government spokesman.
Officer, hata wewe unajua hii curfew imewekwa kupunguza maambukizi, si kudhulumu wananchi.
Imewekwa kudhulumu polisi, si ndio?
Hapana, polisi ndio wanaitumia vibaya.
Sasa unanisomea? Yaani umeacha kusemea serikali, sasa unasomea serikali. You are reading to the government. Hiyo ndio makosa ya ngapi?
Si hivyo officer. Alafu, kwanza wewe mbona hujavaa mask? Si unajua hata nyinyi maafisa wa polisi mnajiweka at risk ya kuambukizwa COVID, Kwa nini humvai mask?
Sasa unauliza serikali maswali tena. You are interrogating the government. Makosa ya ngapi? 3. Tuache mambo mingi kijana. Kwanza nyinyi mmepewa pesa ya COVID allowance. Sisi hata hatujapewa, hata roadblock zilifunguliwa. Cheza kama wewe.
Ati nini?
Leta ile unaleta kijana na uende kule unaendanga.
Sina pesa officer.
Boss, unaongeza makosa chia ingine. Unajua sisi ni nani bana? I can take you to quarantine anytime bila makosa yote. I can take you anywhere I want. Saizi hakuna katiba, tumesuspend everything. Unajua sisi ni nani? We have powers. Sisi ndio Kenya police.
Unajua kutembea bila pesa ni murder case. Unataka kuwa serikali na njaa?
Hebu toa mask nikuone kinyangarika hii.
Utasemea mambo yote mbele. Kuja haraka, tembea. Kanyaga kubwa twende.
Alafu ofisa unajua ufai kunikaribia hivi na hata una mask. Unajuaje kama niko na COVID?
Unaishiki witi kwa kama mimi, twende wewe.
Kwani mtu yuko na corona? Unataka kuwa mimi na corona? Toka hapa shetani wewe, manslaughter wewe, attempted murder COVID-19.
Are you okay? Called us, but not in a forum of intimidation and criminal gangs running the show. That will not happen here. Thank you. Shall we end it there? That we welcome the measures taken by the government and announced by the President 2 days ago, and indeed to confirm that these measures were sure that we protect ourselves and also protect those who are. The behavior we see, we are also equally concerned, conviction that the disease is probably not, and the behavior, the real, I think it would be major concern. Confirm we have a COVID in. I've had our economy to open that. that we welcome the measures taken by the government and announced by the President 2 days ago, and indeed to confirm that these measures were products of consultations all the way even from ourselves, and it will go a long way in helping our economy to open up, and more importantly also to help sectors that had almost been brought to a standstill. We appreciate that a good number of the informal sector players have had a very difficult time in the last 6 months, and subsequently, many of them that closed may never open. So I think anything that we can do, including other incentives, will be most welcome. However, we wish to note specifically for Nakuru, for the last 10 days or so, we have seen an upsurge in the number of corona cases, COVID-19 cases, and more importantly, to note that because Kenyans have relaxed, because contact tracing has also relaxed, and therefore the people who come into contact are not adequately traced and also informed on isolation protocols, the result is that many people are getting to know towards the end, and that is a major concern for us here in Nakuru. Since the pandemic started, at the PGH we have had an average of 10, 15, but today I can confirm we have about 20, and out of those 20, 10 are on oxygen, or what you may call life support, and that's a major concern. In the previous week, we have also lost people who have come, and even before they are diagnosed, it gets to the complication stage. So I think it would be important that we put a warning that notwithstanding the lifting of the travel restrictions, the time for closures, opening up of bars and other social places, the reality is that the disease is here with us. We have real cases. We have people who are currently on oxygen in our hospitals, and the behavior of Kenyans in particular, because the lifting of some of these restrictions has also coincided with some sort of conviction that the disease is probably not here, and also made worse by leaders also who appear in public places and also do not use masks, therefore sending a very worrying trend. We are also equally concerned that in other parts of the world, Britain, France, Israel, they have all gone to second lockdown. And the behavior we see is not very inconsistent with such an eventuality. So I think we want to take this opportunity indeed to request members of the public and even us as leaders to take all that is necessary to ensure that we protect ourselves and also protect those who are close to ourselves. Allow me to comment on the issue of the public transport matter here in Nakuru. For the last 2 days, we have seen some disruptions to normal transport activities, ostensibly by the operators and protesting relocation from the current stages. I wish to confirm that the planning department or mandate is a responsibility of the county. And the planning is made in cognizance of the population trends, commercial activities, future growth plans of the town, and also in consultation with the business people and the community at large. And therefore, our decisions at any time and at all times has been in consultations specifically with the larger stakeholder in Nakuru town. The matatu operators are part of the transport sector stakeholders. they are not the only stakeholders. The users and the business people and the county are also the other users. And we cannot do that which makes one arm happy, yet constrains our development and growth. We had called for a meeting 2 weeks ago with a view to make consultations and also known some of the programs that we have. And they did not want to participate. And for that reason, the meeting did not end conclusively. But we must say that our office remains open to consultations, but we cannot work in an environment where planning is thrown out of the wind and people want to operate as if they are in an island of their own. You are an operator in one sector, yes, but there are many others who are also operators in that sector. And for a traveler who is traveling from Nakuru to Kisumu or Nyeri, wherever you put the stage, they will not stop going to Nyeri because the stage has changed where it was. So we want to make decisions based on public good and also safeguarding the interests of the larger public. Allow me also to say that the current stages were actually informed by the railway, and they were established around 1962, when our population here in Nakuru was barely even 5,000. 2022, so many more years later, we have grown and we want to grow even further. So we cannot chalk our development by sticking to decisions that were made when the parameters were very different then. The county government has an elaborate plan that includes, among other things, acquisition of land, which we have, replanning of our own existing lands, which we have, so that we can also accommodate some of these services. And also, we have allocated a total of 100 million in this financial year, and we are also optimistic that we'll get more funding also from other sources, so that we can do a modern market, a modern stage, just like we've done in health and other areas. It can also be done in the area of public transport. Lastly, is also to say that we've noted with great concern that the persons who are mainly in the forefront on Monday in the purported strike were not matatu operators. They were neither the drivers nor the conductors, but I would say a loose configuration of the criminal enterprise, including some well-known criminal enterprises here in Nakuru, who are being used by some of the beneficiaries of the confusion to try and change our programs. And I want to, at this stage, make it very clear that the Nakuru County we are working for and we are planning for has no room for criminals. So if the strike was there because Nakuru residents and passengers were suffering, why were they not the ones protesting? The business people who are near the stages and were beneficiaries of the previous configuration, we'll be calling them shortly so that we can see how they can continue earning a livelihood. But I must say that our conversation on supporting enterprise must be clearly distinguished from support for criminal enterprise that we have seen in the past and which will do everything possible to dismantle. If you allow criminals to run a city, that city ends up in what you call a city decay, where nobody goes, only the criminals run that show. And the Nakuru will not sit and watch that. We'll revamp our enforcement team, including giving them modern equipment. We'll also recruit and use also technology to ensure that we man and have all corners of our city adequately lit and secured so that we do not have these kind of stories to come. And I must also take this opportunity to request the transport operators to appreciate that The county has a good plan for them, but we would want to urge them to distinguish their business from politics. If they allow their business to be mixed with politics, the results will be in that format. So we want to end it there.